Hey YouTube, today we are ranking the DC animated universe, but we're not talking just like the Tim and Deanie verse. We're going to be ranking every major DC animated show ever released. So joining me is my friend Jack. And Jack, I just want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself. This is your first time you're actually on my channel.
Yeah, sweet. So my name is Jack, Captain JDB84. Been doing some YouTube stuff for a while. Mike is actually, I have to kind of owe him a bit, because he was the one who revised the scripts for my video essays I did, the Star Wars one, the Titanic one. And we've known each other for, how did we meet exactly? Was it through John, I think?
It was through John, our podcast, Mike and John at the Movies.
Yeah.
He recommended you for a couple of guest episodes. And so, we've been cool ever since. It's been like, 2 years now, I think?
Something like that. But yeah, I'm kind of a bit on hiatus at the moment, but I got sort of two things planned for this year. One of them, all the prep work is done. The other one is, I'll get into that another day.
No worries. But I'm glad you're here. So what is your relationship with like DC Comics in general? Are you a big fan or just like a casual watcher?
I don't really read comics much though, but like I remember I watched Batman the animated series religiously when I was a kid because it was always on TV, just kind of like at the perfect time. I think in like the morning or something. And whenever it was on, I just was always excited. I'm like, I'm watching this. This is great. I actually got to I'll just get it out 1 second here. I got to meet my hero Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, who signed my game a few years ago. So,
hey, that's epic. Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
I watched that. Justice League was big with my brothers and I, especially Unlimited, because we were a bit older. I remember my dad, never when it was on, my dad would hate it that we watched it though, because it was always so violent, and he always thought that, it would be the reason I got into fights at school. I'm like, well, no, the guy's just a giant penis, but pardon my French.
Funny.
What's funny to me is that they always play Justice League Unlimited. I think it was like Friday night or something. They had this thing on we had YTV over here in Toronto. I think it was called Bionics. It was kind of like the equivalent of Adult Swim in a way. So they had a bit more like kind of extremer animes and stuff. They also had like Futurama, Dragon Ball GT, I think.
Yeah, that was basically Toonami over here, Adult Swim.
Yeah, and Justice League Unlimited and a few others though. So, but yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're a fan at least, because we have a ton we're going to be getting to. So you have the list. I'm pulling up the list here for YouTube.
Yeah.
We kind of have these in chronological order, or release order, I should say. Not all of them are perfect release order. I kind of got lazy towards the end there. Ran out of time.
Yeah. All right, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go along.
Yeah, so we have Super is the top. It was too easy to change S tier to Super. Then we have A, B, D, and C. C being the worst. We could change that to like F or something, but I don't think it matters that much.
It's all good.
Okay, so I guess we'll start with the Fleischer Superman short films. So did you watch them like recently? Have you seen all of them? Like, what's your experience with those?
So my little brother one day years back, like when we were like teenagers, I guess. So he got this like stack of DVDs though. There were all these Fleischer cartoons from the 40s though, Betty Boop and all these other ones, and of course Superman was one of them as well though. And we watched them, and I mean, it's from the 40s, so you kind of just have to take it for what it is though. Which will kind of be a big reoccurring theme in my ranking for a lot of the stuff actually though. But they're fine. They were made at a time when like there really wasn't much to compare it to. I mean, there was like, what's his name? George Reeves, I think. He was playing Superman in live action, like the serials, I believe. So you took it for what it was worth. It was in color, but for the most part, it kind of visually holds up. I remember there was one where Superman fights this like Godzilla-like creature.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for what it was worth, it was pretty like to the point. So you got Superman, him saving the day. You know, Lois Lane was there doing crazy things. I remember one thing I do remember that Lois Lane was an absolute just asshole in that one though, because she'd do anything and everything to sabotage Clark Kent's career.
Yeah, she was awful. Her, like, you know, Jimmy was annoying. Lois was just a downright bad person. It's just.
Yeah. I'm just like, Superman, is this woman really worth saving if she's gonna kill your career?
Yeah, especially since he doesn't have Bruce Wayne type money, right?
Yeah.
So,
but I'd probably personally maybe, you know what, I'll be generous. I'll put it in the B category though. You know, it's definitely age, but you kind of just have to think about it. There was really nothing to compare it to at the time. Though. Yeah.
I'm with you. I am thinking B is perfect spot for it, especially like you said. For the 40s, like for the 40s, it looks incredible. And then you get some of these shows from the 50s and 60s that look way worse, which is just laughable to me. So
yeah. So I guess we'll just move on to New Superman Adventures, the 60s. I when you sent me the list, I did a quick Google, watched a couple of them. Yeah, it's definitely 60s animation though. Very I got a bit of a Scooby-Doo vibe from them sometimes. In that, like, they're made of a bologna, in that they were made on a bologna sandwich of a budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for the 60s Superman, I just couldn't vibe with this one. I can't get with Scooby-Doo either. Like, I prefer the more modern interpretations of Scooby-Doo than the original.
Mystery Incorporated is still the best version.
True. Is this? I should have written it down, but was this a Hanna-Barbera cartoon? I know one of
it might have been, because that's the thing. Because the New Adventures of Batman, for example, though, they had a crossover with Scooby-Doo. I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. So both of those are probably Hanna-Barbera cartoons then.
Probably. Yeah.
Where are you thinking Superman goes?
You know what? I just realized you got D and C mixed up.
Whoopsie. We're gonna just edit that now.
You know what? Put in the D category. It's not very good. Batman put in C because they actually crossed over with Scooby-Doo. I don't think Superman ever crossed over with Scooby-Doo though.
Superman was either Scooby-Doo was too good for Superman, or they just didn't care enough. Like the Batman show, just touch on it right quick. The Batman show, I feel like they at least tried. There was some effort put in with the. And as you
say, it also had Adam West in there and Burt Ward, so that was kind of, you know.
Yeah,
you heard it for them.
Yeah, I'll take that. So we have Super Friends.
Yeah, this thing has become meme to death. You know what? It was goofy as hell. It's been meme to death, but you know what? It kind of works. So I'd probably put it like, you know what? I'll put it next to the Batman series, though. Yeah.
Super Friends is, I give it credit for being like the first time we really got like a proper Justice League in any sort of meaningful way. I think that's pretty cool. The Wonder Twins are now getting a movie, so I guess that speaks to how popular Super Friends was. And of course, Wendy and Marvin. Like, I don't know what they did. I don't know why they were here, but they were a part of the Justice League. Which is just ridiculous.
Another thing, all those great little like gifs of like Aquaman like flying on fish or whatever, though, just all like goofy imagery.
All of the Family Guy memes, right?
yeah. This is where Family Guy steals most of its humor from, most of its like superhero related jokes from. So yeah. You know what? Actually, put it next to the 40s Superman, maybe. You know what? It gets a bumped up just for that.
I have a soft spot in my heart for Super Friends. I will say.
All right.
I might be a little biased.
Next, the Superman 1980 series. Yeah, I had to Google this thing because I wasn't sure, and the first result came in. Yeah, it's from 1988. Here we go. It was it only went on for 13 episodes.
You know, that very reason I thought about not including it, but I'm like, why not? It was another era of DC animated television. We have to respect it in that regard. Circling back to Super Friends right quick, though. There are like a million spin-offs from the Super Friends that's not on this list. We already had 26. If I included every Super Friends spin-off, we'd be nearing 40.
It was basically the MCU before the MCU was a thing. So.
Except actually bad. Like, the MCU can be bad, but not that bad. So that got cut out. But yeah, as far as the Superman show, I did not enjoy it at all. And we kept giving the excuse of this is a show from the 40s, this is a show from the 60s. Once you hit the 80s, that's like Ninja Turtles, DuckTales era, and you have no right to be bad anymore. Yeah. You have no right to be bad anymore.
Yeah, I agree. The 80s cartoons were 80s cartoons are interesting in that, and this kind of goes for, I guess, everything up until like the era of like streaming and stuff like that. So sometimes it's easy to joke and say, wait, did people seriously watch this? But you got to remember, though, this was at a time when like there was television and there was movies. Like even like some of these shows were around when home media wasn't even a thing. You only watched it because what else were you going to watch?
This is true.
Like for example, like I love the She-Ra series on Netflix, She-Ra and the Princess of Power. And the subreddit for that, every now and again, someone will post a picture of like this She-Ra series from the 80s, and people are like, wait a minute, people watch this? And older fans will just be like, well, yeah, we watched it because what the hell else were we gonna watch?
Right.
That's just the nature of the beast. So.
So with that in mind, where are you thinking the Superman show should go?
Yeah, put it in D. Yeah. Pretty bad.
It's bad, yeah. Like I feel like the 60s one was better. And that's saying something because I hate that show.
All right.
Okay.
Next.
We have good quality this time, right?
Yes. Batman the Animated Series. Oh man, the show that defined my childhood.
Both of ours, yeah.
This was like any chance I got, I could watch this. Even like I'd rent out. There was a convenience store near my parents' place, and I'd rent like they'd have like the movie with Mr. Freeze. I had Mask of the Phantasm. And yeah, anytime I get the opportunity to rent them, I'd watch them religiously. But it kind of speaks for itself. It's just had a place in pop culture. It sort of became like, in some ways, the definitive version of Batman, so to speak, though.
It still might be the definitive version of
Batman, might be the definitive version. And not just like, not just like everything, but the style, the animation, the voice acting, which alone is, could fill out this entire it could be like a 2-hour-long discussion, though.
Right.
I'll never forget this when I saw, it was that god-awful Killing Joke adaptation. I saw that in theaters. Same.
That was so frustrating.
And I remember it started with this little interview with Mark Hamill. This was 2015, I think. I don't even think Force Awakens was even out yet at that point. And he was just talking about being Luke Skywalker. And then he talked about when he was approached to voice the Joker, and he was scared shitless. He's just like, I can't do this. I'm Luke Skywalker. I am a hero to millions of kids. I cannot be a bad guy. Of course, he did it, and it's arguably like, well, it's the role that keeps on giving, and well,
it might be his best performance too. That's what's wild, right?
You just hear his Joker voice. You hear him laugh, and it's permanently ingrained in me.
I'm just gonna do this because I feel like we already know.
Yeah, it's the top. There's not much you can really say. It sits there at the top, and it also redefined a number of characters. It made Mr. Freeze the character that he is.
It gave us Harley Quinn too.
Yeah. It also knew how to be. It also, to me, it understood how to be mature without being hard-boiled about it, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, this was a show kids watched. Like, I was a kid and watched it, though. But, like, you watch it, it's not like the kind of kid show that, like, insults your intelligence or, like, this is a kid show. No, this was a kid show that respected your intelligence.
Yeah, it's one of those, like you said, it's a show that defined our childhood. And it's for me, it's Batman the Animated Series and Avatar: The Last Airbender, which both have the similar quality of it's for kids technically, but to this day you can turn them on and still find something new within those stories, within those characters. And I feel like Batman captured the perfect formula where it can do a one-off episode about Mr. Freeze. Like Heart of Ice is in a 2-part episode, but it's the most iconic story in Mr. Freeze's history. It's the best episode probably of the entire series, and they do that consistently. It's so great.
It also had, oh no, that's New Batman Adventures, never mind. There's a moment I like. But Batman the Animated Series is all that.
True. So Superman the Animated Series is the first spinoff of BTAS, or BTAS, right? In that version, it's a really interesting story of how they had to create Superman the Animated Series. They wanted it to be in the same vein as the 40s Fleischer shorts, and you can even get concept art. I probably put that on the screen for you guys watching. Concept art of what that show was supposed to look like, the style they wanted to go with. They even thought about just like copping out and making it a Super Friends show because they didn't know how to tackle Superman as a character. Which blows my mind, because I don't know about you, Jack, but for me, like Batman the Animated Series is the pinnacle of Batman. Superman the Animated Series is pretty much that for me with Superman.
No, I agree, and it's interesting kind of comparing the two. These with Batman the Animated Series, even though they're both set within the same universe or whatever, though, it is, pun intended, literally night and day. Though Batman the Animated Series is dark, edgy, stylized. Superman the Animated Series, it has this very almost like utopian feel to it, though. You look at Metropolis, that does not look like a real city. That looks like, looks like something out of like the 50s almost, though. Everything's all rounded shapes and everything. I also liked how it portrayed just sort of the relationship between like Clark Kent and Superman, though. There's one of my favorite episodes called The Late Mr. Kent, where someone tries to kill Clark Kent, but you can't kill Clark Kent, but he makes it appear as if Clark Kent is dead, though. And there's this great line where Superman says to his mother, he says, like, I have to be Clark. I'd go insane if I was Superman all day.
Which is perfectly contrast to Batman, where it's
if Batman could be Batman all day, then if Batman could be Batman 24/7, he'd do it. So
but this is something we didn't even mention about Batman the Animated Series, is that the voice, right? Kevin Conroy's legendary voice. Batman's voice is Bruce Wayne's real voice. Bruce Wayne is the one using the fake voice. So I think it's really interesting, especially since these shows are basically they're hand in hand. You can't really have one without the other. I think it's really interesting just showing the differences between the two, which is why the crossover episode World's Finest is the best.
What's funny is when what's his name, Tim Daly, he was the one voicing Superman in this, though. He said when Kevin Conroy entered the booth, because they did the voices together, though, he said he immediately changed his entire approach to how he voiced Superman, though. Just watching him voice Batman, he was just like, oh God, I've been doing it all wrong. And Tim Daly did this web series called The Daily Show with his son, and there's an episode where him and Kevin Conroy get into a fist fight.
I remember that one. That one was so funny.
It is the definitive version of Batman versus Superman, as you will.
Facts. It's iconic.
But actually, another favorite episode of mine is I think it's called Nighttime, spelled Knight. It's where Superman learns both Bruce Wayne and Batman have disappeared. So then he helps Robin, Tim Drake, during basically a crime spree in Gotham. So Superman actually wears the bat suit. And he has to learn how to be Batman. He even gets it fed. He has to outsmart the Riddler, outsmart Mad Hatter. He has to get into a fist fight with Bane, but that goes about as well as you think it would. So
that episode is so great because Bane is talking all the trash he normally does. I'm gonna break you, and then he just punches Batman, which is secretly Superman, and it's just breaks his wrist. It's so funny. We didn't settle on a placement. Where are you thinking this goes? Is this another S tier or an A tier?
You know what? Yeah, I put it in S tier. I think it's really good. It also has the scariest portrayal of the Toy Man. It's just
I was so disappointed when I read Toy Man in the comic books, and he's just so lame in comparison.
This is Yeah. One thing I like in that episode, Nighttime, there's this great line Brainiac says though, where he's kind of this came out in the late '90s, early 2000s. He has this line about Batman. He's like, "You're just as good as your followers on the internet said you were," or something like that. All right, yeah.
Those Batman stands are shaking in their boots right now. So you mentioned this earlier, the new Batman adventures, not to be confused with the new adventures of Batman. So yeah, this is a continuation of Batman the animated series, and it's more Bat family centric. So we have Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl. We had Robin and Batgirl in Batman the animated series, but I feel like Robin was only in like maybe 10 episodes total of that show.
And there was oddly only like 2 episodes where it was Batman, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Robin all at once. So and never in the same scene. So
that's crazy to think about. I feel like most times people lump these shows together, but I do think there's enough of a difference to where we can rank it separately. I don't know about you, but I feel like the new Adventures of Batman might be an A tier.
There are some iffy things about it though. Like it went through everything kind of went through a bit of a major design rehaul. Like you look at all the characters, they're all a bit more square or circle shaped, so to speak though. Some characters got completely redesigned. Most infamously, Joker got redesigned, and he does not look good. Some characters look good.
I like how Harley's exactly the same.
Yeah, Harley's just the same. There's some goofy episodes. Joker's Millions is one of my favorites, where he thinks he's a millionaire.
Mad Love is also in this series, right?
I love. There's also my favorite Joker line ever. I'm crazy enough to take on Batman, but the IRS? No, thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot to love with this show. We just don't have a Farmer Brown episode in Batman the Animated Series.
There is an interesting episode with New Batman Adventures where they kind of like pay homage to like every sort of like various portrayals of Batman throughout the years, from like the 60s, Dark Knight Returns, even like Batman and Robin. There's a character named Joel in there who just like finds himself going, the costume is so majestic. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Where do you think it ranks though?
Definitely A, yeah.
Yeah. A is not a bad spot. Let's be honest.
No. All right, now for this one. Oh, I got history of this one. Batman Beyond. Definitely a fascinating experiment. Very Spider-Man-esque, we'll say that though. When you really slice it down, it's basically Spider-Man just with a Batman coat of paint on it, when you think about it. This one's it's a very interesting premise. You know, what happens, because what happens when Bruce Wayne gets old, which is actually, this show can be a little hit and miss at times though. There are some great episodes, especially when it's like, Terry wants to, avenge his father. He wants to protect the city, but he's also just kind of like, he really just wants to do his own thing and not just be at like, only answer to Bruce Wayne though. But that's kind of, it's weird. It's like weirdly the best part about this show is just the portrayal of Bruce, in the sense that we get to see where all that anger kind of went though. And it left him with no one.
And that's why it's such a crazy like companion piece with the new Batman Adventures, right? Where he's surrounded by this family that he's forged, and then it all just falls away. And we don't really see it happen in Batman Beyond. I feel like that's something that they could have covered a little bit better in the show itself. I know like some sequel comics kind of touched on it a little more.
I think did Batman Beyond get canceled? I don't remember though, but it wasn't until, we'll get into later, there was a Justice League Unlimited episode that also just served as like, basically like an epilogue. And the
episode's literally called Epilogue, yeah.
Yeah, and they tackled all that stuff I just mentioned. Because now Bruce Wayne's even older. It also gave us the Return of the Joker movie, which is amazing. That final fight between Terry and Joker is still great.
The flashback with Joker and Robin is just
yes, that
so crazy.
It's messed up, and It's also just, as a weird side note, it's also a weirdly horny show, Batman Beyond.
I mean, he's a 16-year-old, so...
I know. I will say this, though. I will say, if this film ever got a film adaptation, though, and I guess he's a little too old to play him now, though, Joseph Gordon-Levitt would be the perfect Terry McGinnis, because he looks just like him.
I'm still mad that we're not getting like Michael Keaton being old Bruce Wayne. We're getting a version of that nonsense with Batgirl, but
I'm just like, well, like that's the thing. I'm like, that just sets up itself. Just put makeup on him and just get Batman Beyond and feature blood. I do like some of the villains that Terry has to fight, though. I do like it when he occasionally has to fight the occasional Batman villain, though.
Yeah, there's another Mr. Freeze episode that pops up in Batman Beyond. That's pretty crazy.
There's an episode with Bane. There's an episode with Talia or Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
I also like
that one is wild.
I also liked the one where Terry joins the Justice League, though, and you see just like an older version of Superman, though. That was interesting, and also
I love Superman's line of "Bruce is too stubborn to die." That one gets me. It's like, of course.
I do like when Superman's infected by Starro or whatever, though, and I love that sort of deranged theme it plays with the Superman theme.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where are we thinking?
I'm thinking A tier. Yeah, the show's pretty good. It does have a few shortcomings. But yeah.
Okay. I think A is a good spot for it.
Yeah.
It's especially in comparison to everything that's come before it so far.
Yeah. All right. Next, the Zeta Project.
Yeah. So, like the forgotten child of the DCAU.
This show,
I don't even remember this airing on TV, honestly.
Here's the thing. I remember watching this show. I'm just gonna might be a bit loud. 1 second. I remember watching this show when it aired on TV, though, because I remember just like. I was always so weirded out by the intro of it because it just sounded so like, I don't know, it's like, I was made to destroy, but I will not destroy. Very in your face of just like, this is the message, kids.
Right.
It's weird. It's set in like it's set in the DCAU, but like, this thing never appeared anywhere else, not in like Justice League or anything like that.
Yeah, it's almost like, why did this show exist? What was the point?
Mm-hmm. I don't remember much. I never finished it, though. I remember like he gets captured at one point and they're gonna like erase his brain, and that was like the last episode I saw, I think.
You know what's scary? I can't even fact check. That might be the last episode that just got canceled.
Seriously?
Yeah, like that's the last thing I remember too. And again, you can't really find the Zeta Project anywhere. So I can't even go back and check that, but that might have ended on a cliffhanger. That could have been a season 1 cliffhanger.
It's not even on like HBO Max or anything?
Not that I'm aware of. Let me double check though. It's not worth checking now. It's not going to help us now, but yeah, I'll check in post.
But like, I really don't remember much about it though. Like, I remember some of the action. The main guy was always on the run. That's kind of it though. There was always that girl he was with. And like, he always picked the same human disguise, and it was like, why not? But they always like knew which human he disguised himself as though. So it's like, why not disguise yourself as literally anyone else?
I'm thinking C tier maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably have to rewatch it. Sorry for the noise, but yeah, I don't remember much. The odd episode here and there, and that's it.
Yeah, C, forgettable. Not terrible, but forgettable.
No, but let's move on. What's next?
Justice League.
Oh, this is another one I watched religiously back in the day. Yeah.
Justice League, it stars Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, and Hawkgirl. This show is interesting because unlike Batman the Animated Series or Superman the Animated Series, it's mainly 2-part episodes. So they're really telling 1 hour mini movies here.
Mm-hmm. And it was always like, yeah, it'd be weird. And they wouldn't air like at the same day. It would be like 1 episode a week type deal though. So if you missed an episode a week, you'd turn it on, they'll be like, okay, they're in the middle of doing something and I don't know what the context is. So
it got me so many times I would miss an episode.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I've ever really watched the show in full until like maybe the 2010s because it was just I missed one and now I'm lost. But aside from that, I think it's pretty good.
It is pretty good. I don't remember. I'm just trying to think. I don't really have any gripes. I mean, it has a huge cast of characters, but it's somehow able to balance them all, I feel, and make them all work. And you know, I know it's cliche to say this is the one that I know they went really hard with the whole like Wonder Bat, as it's called, because I love just Diana. Every time they're together, Diana's just like, give me your bat around. She's just like, just.
It's a bit much, but it's such a good ship, honestly. Like I get it. It didn't really work for me in like BVS. We didn't give a lot of time to it, but like I like the idea of this mortal man and this deity essentially.
There are some great highlights to it. I remember the 3-part opening. It was largely about Martian Manhunter. He was great.
We didn't use white Martians in his origin for some reason, though. That was kind of strange.
Wait, what were those things they were fighting, though?
They looked and acted like white Martians, but they weren't called white Martians.
It must have been the slightly cream-colored Martians. Egg cream-colored. I remember that was great. I'll never forget the finale. When it was, they finally go into Hawkgirl, who she is, though. And how she basically had to lie to the entire Justice League. And
the Thanagar War is iconic.
Yeah, that was great. The one where they go back in time, it's the one where they enter some warped future where the Nazis won World War II, and like they have to go back. They have that kind of like alternate version of Batman or whatever, though. And there's this line he says to Superman, I think, you can go back in time and say my parents are being dead. There's just this pause from Superman for a minute because he knows Bruce Wayne's Batman. He's just like, yeah, we can do that.
So yeah, I think in that same like time travel episode, we also meet Steve Trevor in like World War II.
Yes, Steve Trevor, and that was good.
I also really love the Death of Superman episode.
Yes, that one's a good one. With him and Vandal Savage on a road trip, basically. I love. This is a case where Toyman just really works for me, though, just because he's in that like suit or whatever, though. It's like, Superman, go bye-bye. He's got that big cartoonish smile on his face.
And you can just see the look in Wonder Woman's eyes of how she wants to just like murder him right on the spot.
Yes, yeah.
That alone puts it in S tier for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good. I also particularly like the episode where it's or a 2-part episode. Was it a 2-part episode? The Justice Lords they introduced, though, where it's like the alternate timeline where Superman killed Lex Luthor, and they basically like kind of ruled the world, basically.
That's a great episode, and the way it comes back in another series that we're about to talk about is just, it blows my mind every time.
I would say my favorite bit of that is when Batman's talking to Batman, though. They're in the Justice Lord's Earth, and some guy gets randomly thrown in prison because he like disagreed with a check or something. He says, they would have loved it here. Who? Mom and Dad.
He knows how to push his own buttons. You know they had to like eat him up alive just trying to say that anyway.
Yeah. All right. Next on the list is Static Shock. Yeah. I remember the intro for this was just forever jammed into my head because it was so catchy. Hero Static Shock. It's pretty good. I didn't really know it was actually set within like that universe until they did a crossover with the Justice League. I'm like, oh, okay. Cool.
Where'd you learn that from? From the Justice League episode, or from when they start popping up in Static?
When they popped up in Static. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like Green Lantern showed up, Superman showed up at one point.
Yeah.
I love how Batman's like Robin's with the Teen Titans, but they just never showed us that.
That was funny.
I love Virgil as a character. He's one of my favorites. I love everything about Static personally. I think the show tackles it pretty well. It's not perfect. I might just be a little biased because I love Virgil so much and Static as a character so much. But yeah, I dig this show a lot. It still holds up too. I watched it not too long ago. It's pretty good.
I remember because this was like airing around the same time as I think X-Men Evolution or something. And I guess because they used a similar sort of animation style, sometimes I just couldn't tell. Sometimes I thought, like, are they going to cross over one day or something?
I mean, that line of thinking makes sense. As soon as Batman changed its art style to match Superman, it's like, yeah.
No, it's pretty good. I literally have not seen this in like 20 years, so. But I do remember enjoying it. I remember one episode where he had like too much static and it was causing issues everywhere. So.
Or the infamous, you ruined my life with your stupid racism.
Something like that, yeah.
Such a crazy episode, and the fact that it tackled that was wild.
Yeah.
A, B, or super?
I'm putting A. Yeah.
I feel like the DCAU might dominate super.
Yeah. All right. Now for the next one, Justice League Unlimited. Oof, this was a big boy. I like how Unlimited starts because it picks up immediately. It's set sometime after the end of Justice League, where they no longer had a watchtower. The first episode of this, they now have 3 watchtowers and a literal army of superheroes.
I love the opening of JLU because
that theme is just so good.
Oh yeah, it's. I thought the Justice League theme was great. JLU slaps, man. But like, I love the opening sequence, opening episode, the pilot, of them recruiting Green Arrow. And so it's like, we don't get backstory. We are being introduced to this concept of how big the Justice League is through the eyes of a new character.
This was also like, I also said, like, Batman Beyond was horny. This was like the horniest fucking superhero show ever. There's some great episodes. I like when they all fight those machines and they introduce the Atom. There's a particularly funny line he says, though, where he's like trying to fight some machine or whatever, though, and he's like lying down. His wife's like, "Why are you lying down? I'm a very old man, as you can see."
I love the Argus arc, everything that happens with Amanda Waller. That's all great too.
I liked everything involving Lex Luthor when he was trying to build a new body, and then like Brainiac is literally in his body. That was crazy. And then Flash ends up saving the day in like a genuinely just moment of badassery.
Discovering the Speed Force too, which is a concept I didn't even know existed until that episode.
There was another one though, and I do love the finale though, when just by sheer accident Lex Luthor revives Darkseid and now he's infused with Brainiac.
Or Superman just going ham on Darkseid in the final episode. It's just like,
I love that.
Wait, this dude was holding back the entire universe. He was holding back.
That speech is great. The world made out of cardboard. I also
put it in S. There's no reason to debate. It's in S. We can keep talking about it though.
What's another great episode?
I love the one where Flash and he and Lex switch bodies.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Which is funny because Michael Rosenbaum voiced Flash and Lex Luthor in Smallville. So
right. So
they introduced the Question, who's just like the most morally questionable character possible.
The Question is iconic. We need to. Why doesn't he have a series on HBO? We just need
my favorite line from Question though. It's like he saw something Supergirl's trash. Like, how did you? What did you look through my trash? Please, I looked through everyone's trash.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, that's
dedication. Because again, this roster is unlimited, and what I love about
unlimited.
What I love about Justice League and JLU is that, like you were saying earlier, it balances all of those characters really well. And the key to that is you just focus on 3 or 4 at a time. And then Batman doesn't have to be in this episode. He'll be in the next one, yada, yada, yada. So I feel like they just knew we want to tell a story with Green Arrow, Supergirl, Steel, and Green Lantern. That's an episode that they pitched. That's what they'd come up with. It works because that's who's required for that story. And then you move on to the next one. I think that worked really well. And I feel like more shows need to plotted out that way.
There's nothing much to say. What's next? Teen Titans? Right?
Yes. When
All
there's
right.
trouble, you know who to call. This, I'm going to be real. This one never really did much for me. I know I'm in the
Really?
minority there.
Oh, my brothers and I watched this like religiously when we were kids. It's just it just worked for me. It worked for us. Just make a noise here. It definitely, I could see like, because this is kind of airing around the same time as Justice League though, so tonally it is much different, very like chibi anime-esque. So.
I think that's what got me, is that I was watching these other shows doing a lot of mature stuff, and then ironically from the guy who loves like SpongeBob SquarePants and all that stuff from the same era, I just couldn't get into Teen Titans. I was watching a lot of Ninja Turtles at that point, so it's
Fair.
funny because Teen Titans, it's like my favorite comics team of all time, but the show I just never could get into. So I'll let you rank it, because people would get mad at me if I put it in B tier.
I definitely put it in A tier. I don't know, just like, I remember my favorite episode is just when Robin starts working for Slade. Slade poisons pretty much, or he puts like a virus in the rest of the team. And then I love how Robin outsmarts him by way of he infects himself with the virus and says like, if you kill my friends, you kill me, and I know how much you hate to lose.
Yeah, there's some truly great moments in Teen Titans. I also like the voice cast is still working to this day with
Ron Perlman as Slade. So
dude,
good.
so great.
I do like actually my favorite episode. It's the one where because it reminds me of one of my favorite Legend of the Legend of Korra episode, Korra Alone.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's the one where Robin keeps seeing Slade when the lights are out though, but no one else can see him. I love that episode. And I think my favorite moment is when Raven goes into Robin's head and you just see all these references to like Robin witnessing his parents dying and, you know, taking an oath under Batman and all that though. You see all these things just thrown in there.
So great.
Also Robin and Starfire for life. They were just
interesting.
They are the best couple.
They really are. I'm gonna be real. I'm not even gonna front with that. Robin and Star is such a great dynamic, especially in contrast with what the DCAU did with Robin and Batgirl, which they toyed around with for like 2 episodes and then just like threw the entire idea away.
I had to wait until that movie, the movie where they're in the one where they're in Tokyo, to see Robin and Starfire finally get together.
I probably would appreciate it more with a rewatch. I've watched a few episodes within like the last few years. Probably just need to go all the way through start to finish to really appreciate it, especially since I didn't get into it as a kid. So I probably just need to go in with fresh eyes.
Right. Let's keep going. What's next? What about Crypto the Superdog?
Did you watch any of that show? I watched way too much Crypto than I'm willing to admit.
I do remember it. I remember the episode where they introduced Bat Dog, and like I think he was infected by like Joker Dog or something, because the whole episode is just him making jokes.
Yeah, Bat Hound is pretty interesting. I like how the pets reflect the personalities of their owners, but in that case, why don't I just watch Batman or Superman? Yeah.
I don't remember much. I just remember the odd episode here and there. So, but yeah.
I'm just gonna be the authority then and say Crypto is fine as a kid's show. It doesn't redefine the genre like that S tier or A tier.
It was definitely aimed at kids, yeah, more so than like, you know, you'd think.
I think it's probably C tier. I'd say.
Yeah, put in C.
It might be B tier, but we'll just put it.
Yeah,
in
put in C tier.
Yeah. So next is what we got.
Legion of Superheroes. Oh, I remember this one. I remember seeing the ads for it though, and I just always remember the one clip they played all the time. It was him putting on the Superman suit, but because he's not really an adult, the suit is too big on him.
Yeah, I remember watching this. I think this was on like 4Kids or something. Legion of Superheroes is an interesting idea. I like the idea of, making a show about the Legion, which is a very underrated DC team, and sticking Superman on it as sort of like that major IP that'll get people to watch it. This was back when they still thought Superman would get enough people to watch something, and they didn't stick Batman on the Legion.
Well, this might have been, I don't know when this thing came out, though. It might have been like Superman Returns might have come out, but it might have been coming out around the time. I don't remember. So.
You might be right. When did Superman Returns come out? Was that like 2006?
2006.
Yeah. I think it's around that same time period, like 2005 or so. So that makes sense.
Yeah, 2000 first episode, 2006. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. It's not bad.
I just don't remember. I've watched a bit of it, but I honestly don't remember anything about it. So.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not bad. It's just not memorable at all. So I think that puts it in C tier. It happened. That's all we can say. That's a show that happened. Okay, so we'll just put that as C.
All right, The Batman. Here we go.
Not to be confused with the Matt Reeves movie.
This show is interesting. Aesthetically, it's weirdly design-wise. Everything is kind of looks similar to Teen Titans in that, like, it's kind of cartoony. It does a lot of weird things in the sense that, like, sort of like the Tom Holland Spider-Man films, in the sense that you can see it's trying to distance itself from what came before being Batman the Animated Series by... It's
clearly trying not to be BTAS, yeah.
Basically, yeah, it's trying to avoid a number of the things that it did, but, there's nothing wrong with, like, I don't want to say repeating storylines, though, but, like, kind of owning where you came from, so to speak, though. Yeah, that's not like a negative on any of it. It was trying to do its own thing because it kind of had to. And interestingly, both Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill have a cameo in this. Yeah, interestingly enough, it's the episode where they actually introduce Robin, though. Kevin Conroy plays Robin's father, and Hamill plays, I think, the dude who, like, sabotages the circus thing, I think.
I didn't know that. That's actually crazy. Yeah, so this show infamously introduced Batgirl first.
Yeah.
And then Robin. And so
it's also the first depiction of Oracle.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
And given the kind of cartoony nature of this show, that is a dark implication.
Also, like, I think it's the Bat embargo of why Bat family characters couldn't appear in Justice League and all that stuff. I'm wondering if that applied to the Batman. Did they have to, like, wait for Teen Titans to kind of get close to wrapping up before they introduced Robin?
I've heard so many weird conflicting things because this show was airing kind of like when Justice League was still airing as the Teen Titans. So I've heard so many conflicting things, and Batman Begins was coming out around the same time during its airing. So it's hard to say. It also has one of the most, I guess, controversial portrayals of the Joker. He's very, like, ape-like. I do like, what's his name? Kevin Michael Richardson, who's voicing him. He's great.
He's great. It's just, again, like, in contrast to Mark Hamill's voice. It's just like, whoa, what is happening here? This is also the only show that I think did The Dark Knight Returns, which is just insane.
It also had, what else did it have, though? I do like it also has my favorite portrayal of Killer Croc, because he's voiced by Ron Perlman. And he's this, like, super redneck, like dickhead. He speaks like this, boy.
Foghorn Leghorn. The Batman is a show that I enjoyed mostly. It is a bit weird at times.
I do remember they had one movie. It was Batman versus Dracula.
I never watched that because I'm like, why is Dracula here?
I did, and it's interesting. It also is the one of the goriest Batman films ever. There's a bit where he fights Joker at a blood bank, and blood gets literally everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
But it's an okay series. It definitely had. It also kind of became a bit of a Justice League show at the end because they introduced Superman. It also was like, don't want to say sexist though, but like there was a bit where Batgirl was kind of kicked off the show, and like they had the Justice League there, but no Wonder Woman. So
that was kind of strange. The way they set up the Justice League in that series is just really weird to me because it's a Batman show, and like I feel like they should have did a spinoff. But also, I feel like Justice League Unlimited probably like ended the year before.
Maybe. And so, it was also weird though, because a bunch of the characters they had were all kind of like Superman was in this, and he was voiced by friggin' George Newbern, who voiced Superman in Justice League and Martian Manhunter. I forget who voiced him though. Actually, one of my favorite episodes was I think it was Hugo Strange. I think.
Yeah.
He created some weird like toxin thing though that like infected everyone. And I think it's like a 2-part episode, I forget though. But it's this weird thing where Batman thinks he's figured it out though. But and just as he's about to push the button though, he kind of realizes, wait a minute, maybe I've been playing. It's a genuinely like intense episode. It's hard to explain. I think it just could have gone a bit further though. There were times it just felt like it just wanted to play it too safe, I thought. But there's times where it does take risks properly, I feel.
So I feel like for me, I don't know where you are. I feel like that's a B.
Yeah, it's a B tier. Yeah.
So right. The next show is Batman the Brave and the Bold, right?
Oh man, I love this show so much. This was like a big love letter to all the Silver Age comics, all the 60s wackiness and everything. I don't have anything bad to say about this show. It was a nice little breath of fresh air, I felt, in the sense that we had so many serious adaptations of superheroes. Even like Teen Titans, which was cartoony, this was like full-on camp, like, you know, like B-movie camp. And I think that's the thing I liked about it so much, though. It had such a sincerity to it. But obviously, you know, it's not for everyone. And, you know, I know people who absolutely despise this show. So, yeah.
I love Batman the Brave and the Bold. Like, it's especially funny. Like, you were talking earlier about, like, how the Batman and all that stuff was coming out when Batman Begins was coming out. The fact that, like, The Dark Knight was airing the same time Batman the Brave and the Bold was just perfect counter-programming. But I feel like that also helped kids realize you can have different versions of these characters. This is how comic books work, right?
There's literally an episode where there's like a Bat convention, and it's like something like every version of Batman is what's it called? Has its own pros and cons. There's some episode that literally talks just about that though. Despite its goofy nature, it also features, I think, one of the darkest episodes. There's an episode where Batman comes face to face with Joe Chill, the guy who killed his parents. It's also there's an episode, the whole episode's a big homage to everything Batman. Like Kevin Conroy's there, Adam West is there, Julie Newmar, who played Catwoman in the 60s series, is there, Zatanna's there. And yeah, he encounters Joe Chill, reveals his identity, and he is ready to kill him.
Is this A or S tier?
I'd say put it A tier. Because again, it's not for everyone, and there are some episodes that do kind of make me go, ooh. There's also another episode I like. It's Catwoman, Black Canary. I forget who the other one was. They sing a song, and you just actually listen to the lyric.
It's the Birds of Prey.
Yeah, the Birds of Prey song. It is like the most like overtly sexual song possible. They talk about Flash. Sometimes he's just too fast. I had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, same.
Young Justice was pretty good. It has one of my favorite portrayals of Batman. What's his name? Bruce Greenwood, who's a Canadian actor, playing Batman. I do like the cast. I like some of the things they deal with. Some things are a little scratching my head over a bit though. Even though like they all hang out in their civilian clothes, they still have no idea who Robin is. He wears sunglasses and they still have no idea who this kid is.
Yeah, that's strange. Young Justice for me is an interesting one because I adore season 1 of Young Justice, and I really enjoy season 2. It's not as good, but I really enjoy season 2. Season 3 and 4, that's when it was revived, like 7
Well,
years later.
it got canceled. I remember that it got canceled after season 2.
Yeah.
And this where things got weird. Like the show had a huge female fan following.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was they wanted it to appeal to boys or something. I don't know, but like I remember when it got canceled though, I just had a bunch of friends all just completely burnt out because it ends on such a huge cliffhanger and Vandal Savage meets Darkseid and that's it. It just ends.
Yeah, that was hard. I love the first 2 seasons. The last 2 aren't doing much for me. Sometimes I think when you're away from a project that long, like the second half of season 4, season 5 might be incredible. You just got to get back into that groove and try and figure out how to navigate it. So that takes it from an S for me down to maybe an A or a B.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, like I love the first 2 seasons. Don't really like the last 2. So that's where I'm at, 50-50.
It is kind of one of those things. Even if you stop watching it after the second season, yes, it ends on a cliffhanger, but I don't know. I think you can just stop watching it there.
True. Yeah. Nothing in season 3 made me like, yes, I waited 7 years for this to come back and it paid off.
Yeah. I also thought it was an interesting choice. Freaking Robin ends up with Zatanna, and then they break up again. That was fun. Yeah, Everyone is also another really horny show.
I mean, the horniest shows are the ones that include Robin, so it makes sense. I mean, Dick Grayson's character.
I also like the voice of Robin. What's his name? Jesse McCartney, I think. Yeah. He played Roxas on Kingdom Hearts.
The voice cast is superb in Young Justice. Like, it's great. Until they recast Beast Boy and they got Greg Sipes to do the voice, that just like threw me way off.
Mm-hmm.
Love Greg Sipes, but it's like I'm not watching Teen Titans. This is weird.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
I guess we're just gonna drop that off an A for right now.
Yeah, I guess an A. Yeah. I haven't really kept up with it. I remember I watched the new season when it came back, but I hadn't really watched much after that. So.
Not missing much. They kind of did like a pod style storytelling where they're like focusing on one character for 3 episodes and then another for 3. The roster got way out of hand after season 2. So
I remember that. Like season 2, there were like 1 million characters after that, though.
Yeah. So
and this show also not so subtly introduced Jason Todd and then nonchalantly just like, yeah, he's dead anyways.
Yep. There's a lot going on, and unlike Justice League, it doesn't really juggle all those characters well at all.
Not really, no.
Okay,
what's next?
Next is Teen Titans Go on our list here.
So this show is interesting. I remember the hype for it and then the inevitable disappointment because everyone was like, oh wow, this is really just a giant cartoon, isn't it? I don't really have many thoughts, I guess, though. Like, I remember I watched a bit of it. I think my favorite part about Teen Titans Go is just Teen Titans Go to the movies, because I stand by this. That is one of the best superhero films of the last, 10 years, I think.
So, Teen Titans Go to the movies, if you haven't watched Teen Titans Go to the series, it's very indicative of what you get from that show.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate it because they feel like it replaced the original Teen Titans, where I feel like, if anything, it may have replaced Young Justice because it's the show that immediately followed Young Justice getting canceled.
Yeah.
But it didn't replace anything. It's just a different take on the Teen Titans team. And it's just straight up hilarious at times. It can be cringy at times too, but for what it's trying to be, I think it does it successfully. And yeah, Teen Titans Go to the movies is fantastic. Is this another A tier or B tier?
I'd say put it.
People would hate us for putting this over Teen Titans in the S tier.
I'd say put in B tier. There are some really stupid episodes in Teen Titans Go.
This is true.
I do love how tongue-in-cheek it is, though. Another one. I love what's one of my favorite jokes, and that the Robin has an insatiable thirst for Starfire, though. There's an episode where she wears the Batgirl suit.
Oh gosh.
He's just like, take it off right now. She's like, but the costume's too tight. He's like,
Or the episode where Beast Boy is obsessing over Raven's legs. That
was weird. But yeah, what can you do?
These shows are way cornier than I remembered.
Yeah, leg. Well, to be fair, I always ship those two anyway. So
they're cute.
Yeah,
better than him and Tara. We'll just leave that.
Oh yeah. Oh, Tara, that's let's not get into that.
They introduced Tara in the last season of Young Justice, I think.
Oh,
no. I'm like, okay, didn't we kind of do this already though with like Red Arrow, Speedy?
Yeah.
We did a version of that anyway.
Whatever. Anyways, moving on. What's next?
Green Lantern, the animated series.
So I only watched a little bit of this though. This sort of goes into. I'll talk a bit about this. Maybe want to get into Beware the Batman though, but I don't think CG superhero shows work as well as they think they do. Because I don't know, I was getting this sort of like kind of Diet Incredibles vibe with it sometimes though.
Yeah.
There were some good bits with it though, but I don't know. I just don't think it worked. I just thought it was just fine. Nothing really noteworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Green Lantern, the animated series, has a lot to live up to following Batman and Superman, the animated series.
Yeah.
It's
cool,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in B. I think that's fair. Vixen. So this is an Arrowverse show. Vixen is introduced to thinking like, is it The Flash or Legends of Tomorrow? And
she was introduced. They had this, and then the actress who voiced her physically appeared in Arrow as Vixen.
Yeah.
Of course, they made a reference to it though. Oh, our last encounter was a little animated, I'd say.
Yeah. So this one it's strange because it's like 6 episodes that aired on the CW. I think it aired on like CW's website first.
Yeah. It's fine. I mean, it's set in the CW, so I set in the Arrowverse. Vixen as a character is, she's fine. I don't know, it's not really a series. It's just kind of like a micro thing. The episodes aren't even 20 minutes long, so.
Right. It just exists.
Mm-hmm.
Does that put it in D, or do we give it the benefit of the doubt and put it in C?
Put it in C. Yeah.
Yeah, like it. As far as Arrowverse content goes, it's honestly really strong.
Right.
Just too short.
All right, what's next? Beware the Batman?
Yeah, you said you had some thoughts on that one, so what's up?
So, I remember a friend of mine really loved this show, and we watched the first season. For the longest time, I think only like 13 episodes of it were available.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, what the hell is this show? It's weird. The portrayal of Batman is just so weird, and there were times like there's an whole episode where he's fighting Killer Croc, and it's trying to be like a homage to when like the one fight in Dark Knight Returns where he fights like the mutant leader or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But sort of what I'm talking about with CG, the CG was the animation just wasn't good. It felt so weightless and just didn't really hold up though.
The CG Green Lanterns wasn't great, but I think it worked better. Like he said, it was weightless. Green Lantern being set in space kind of lent itself to that a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas Batman, it's like the punches don't feel right. The animation is it's a little strange. So yeah, it took me out of it a bit.
I just didn't think it was very interesting. I don't think it really even had like any of the iconic like Batman villains though. Killer Croc was a big one though, but I don't think Joker was in this or anything. So yeah,
it's not. That's another thing. Like we were talking about the Batman, but Beware the Batman is just like we're a Batman show that doesn't want to be a Batman show. So
we're a Batman show that's just scared shit. I guess that's kind of an inevitability when you've done so many of these things though. Eventually you're just gonna be like, what else can we do next though? But sometimes I'm just like, just give your own take on it though. You don't have to be worried of like, well, people will accuse us of whatever though. It's like, well, I don't know. But I just think it's forgettable. I don't know. I should put in C tier. Yeah. All right,
so,
what's next?
That makes sense though. Like there's 6 Batman shows on this list. All I feel like 5 of them were within like a 15-year span of each other.
Yeah. What's next?
Justice League Action.
This one's interesting. It had a lot of the voice cast. Mark Hamill returned to be Joker again in this one though.
Right as Batman, yeah.
This one I think definitely worked for what it was. Each episode was only about 10 minutes long. Packed a lot in those 10 minutes though, but kind of it worked. It knew what it was, knew what it wanted to be, and it was goofy. It could be serious. It could be funny, charming. I just think it worked. I say put in B tier. Here.
I'm with you. For the short nature of the series, I feel like it works. There's not an episode of Justice League Action that I've watched where that I didn't enjoy it on some level. So B tier, it works for me. DC Superhero Girls is second to last on this list.
I have not seen this show, so.
Okay. You see the image that I have of it on the screen. You guys are watching the B-roll footage that I cut in. That's the show. It's not a particularly dark take. It's just very Barbie-esque, I guess is the best way to describe it.
I think this is something Jenny Nicholson was talking about. She was talking about that Star Wars show from years ago, Forces of Destiny, I think. Mm-hmm. Talking about like, I forgot what it was she was specifically talking about. Something like shows aimed at women, particularly young girls, are just like something like they feel like they're just sort of, permanently stuck, so to speak. Though you look at like most entertainment aimed towards young boys, though that's constantly evolving though. But anytime someone tries any sort of media, especially like for like young girls or something, though, it always just kind of feels, like you say, very Barbie-esque in a way though. And it's like, can't we just get past that?
It's really funny to me that this show exists. I know it's probably a younger demographic, but like you had a show that were watching. It was called Young Justice, and you canceled it.
Yeah, basically.
And so, why does DC Superhero Girls exist? Again, I'm sure Young Justice was for like tweens and teens. DC Superhero Girls was probably for like kids 5 and up. So it's not bad by any stretch, but like I'm gonna put it in C. It's okay.
All right, now the best for last, Harley Quinn. I haven't seen this start to finish though, but I've seen enough of it to be like, this just looks like the greatest fucking thing ever, and I want to watch all of it right now.
You are not wrong. It is.
I love that it's very adult oriented. Voice cast is great. I love that. I love the amount of time she ends up sleeping with Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn. I do love, there's an episode where Joker unmasks Batman, and he's just a boring billionaire Bruce Wayne. What the? I do like, it's so what's funny. His name? Didrik Bader, who voiced him in Brave and the Bold, and voicing Batman.
Yes.
I like
that's what makes it even funnier for me. It's like, is this just like a continuation of Batman?
I like Bold? I like that one bit where it's like it's Damian Wayne, I think, and for some reason Superman is just always with him.
I don't know about you, but I'm thinking S tier for Harley.
Yeah, S tier. This show is great. I see what happens next. Is it still going, the show, or is it like done now?
It's on hiatus. I know that they're working on is it season 3? I'm pretty sure they're working on season 3 right now. Mm-hmm. A pandemic happened since season 2, so it's probably taking a little bit longer to push it out. But it's a great show. Definitely for an adult audience, but it's hilarious. It's got great action. It's surprisingly violent. There's just so much to like about Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm. But that's a ranking. Kind of weird seeing like most of these shows from my childhood and stuff, just thinking about them all at once. Like, man, we had a lot of Batman shows.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, guys, this is the ranking. S tier, Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, and Harley Quinn. A tier, the new Batman adventures, Batman Beyond, Static Shock, Teen Titans, Batman the Brave and the Bold, and Young Justice. B tier is the Fleischer Superman shorts, Super Friends, The Batman, Teen Titans Go, Green Lantern the Animated Series, and Justice League Action. And in C tier, we have the new adventures of Batman, the Zeta Project, Crypto the Superdog, the Legion of Superheroes, Vixen, Beware the Batman, and DC Superhero Girls. And in our bottom tier, the D tier, we just have 2 Superman shows you guys probably never heard of.
Yeah. But that's the ranking. It's been fun, Mike. We should do it again next time we want to rank something.
Oh yeah, I've got a few things that'll probably be fun ranking videos. Okay. It's been fun talking and just going through them all show by show. Has been a blast. Where can people find you? I know you have your handle there, but
yes, follow me on Twitter, on YouTube, CaptainJJB84, not Instagram because my Instagram account got hacked recently. So that is Jack Conrad94 at Jack Conrad94 if you want to find me on Instagram. There's nothing really else right there. I'm currently have sort of one thing in the works, but I don't know when it'll be out because I still have to shoot another entire interview for it though. But yeah, and I got another video essay that's sort of in early stages. And I guess because we're on a superhero related short, I can sort of give a hint of the topic. It'll be about the Snyder Cut of Justice League.
Ooh.
And
that's both incredibly interesting and kind of scary.
And there is, I'm going to be looking at that and a few others, but there is, I have an interesting point to make with that film. So
nice.
you'll with that will be way down later in the year. Yeah.
Nice. I have your channel and everything linked into the description too, so people can subscribe and check that out. It's been a blast, man. We got to do this again sometime soon.
We should, yes. We get Will involved next time. He'll have loads to say.
Oh, definitely.
All right.
Thanks again to Jack for joining us on this episode of The Novice Cinephile. It's been a blast. The Batman comes out. Expect a review. Fun stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Peace.
And the adventure continues.